So let me start, first of all, by how is it that we stayed resilient? First of all, we followed an evidence-based policy that diagnosed and prescribed what needs to happen and what weakened our competitiveness on evidence basis. Second, we owned our reform agenda. We actually are doing this structurally very heavy reform program because we believe this is the right path for Jordan. We went to the IMF seeking their technical support on this structurally very demanding program. We're not doing it because anybody is pushing us in this direction. This is the right path for Jordan. Third, we had open communication and established trust with the IMF and with other IFIs and investment communities. Things and reforms we could deliver on, we promised to deliver on when we delivered. And reforms that we simply were not ready to deliver on, we never promised that we will start. And I think that established credibility in sequencing the reform agenda. As a result of all of that, we had a steadfast reform execution momentum. In spite of a very challenging domestic political economy where we have high youth unemployment and we have become the world's biggest host of refugees after the Syrian refugee crisis. And as a result of that, yesterday I was having meetings with the IMF and they used a very interesting phrase. They said when it comes to Jordan, sound policies yield sound results. And this is where we are today.
This structural part, as you were mentioning, Dr. Rasha, is basically focused on 4 main pillars. The first one is increasing the weight of the real side of the economy. So we're focusing more on enhancing the weight of manufacturing, agriculture, and ICT in order to enhance the resilience of the economy and the competitiveness and the export-led sector of the economy. The other one is, of course, investing in human capital through capacity building program, through increasing the safety net program, and also embarking on different developmental programs like the Haya Karima and the Family Development Program. The third one is working on the efficacy and the flexibility of the labor market in Egypt. And why the labor market in Egypt? Because we are a country that has 103 people with a very populous country, and 60% of this population are young people under the age of 30. So it is very important to work on the supply side and the demand side of the labor market.
So while the world usually asks on the cusp of a party Congress at this stage in China's political cycle, who will rule China, this year the important question is instead, what will Xi do with his power? And what does it mean for the world? Major policy changes are not typically enumerated at party Congresses, but analysts will be watching for what Xi's further consolidation of authority portends for Beijing's approach in a range of critical areas going forward. Financial markets will be hoping for some evidence of pushback on Xi, given the arbitrary policymaking over the past 3 years that has created significant market volatility and a sluggish Chinese economy hit by strict zero-COVID containment measures and a crisis in the property sector. Xi's work report will be closely watched for any signs of relaxation of those zero-COVID measures, which, as Michael writes, have suppressed economic growth, badly damaged small businesses, and fomented widespread public frustration.
But I think this idea that this kind of misplaced hope that a lot of people have, that after the Party Congress, we'll get that shift back to pragmatism, that shift back to economic growth at all costs. That's not going to happen. The Xi era is very much here to stay. Everyone knows that Xi is going to secure a 3rd term as president. That's very much baked in. For me as a journalist, because China policymaking is so opaque, completely different to what you're used to here in Washington, we try to read the signs, and the signs very much indicate that we're not going to get a zero COVID pivot right now. Most expectations are for March 2023 at the earliest, and it will be slow. It will be a lot slower than we experienced in Hong Kong. The property market, that is something that is, it's not accidental. It's a deliberate restructuring of a very problematic part of China's economic growth. It's a bubble. China's trying to do something that no government has ever done successfully, which is to pop a bubble without destabilizing the financial system. Again, I'm not commenting on the results, but let's see what happens there.